All right, so we got everything cleaned off. So we're going to start with our base plate. That's the one with the feet, and no straw, whatever you call this guy here. All right, so here's that gap that we talked about here. So we're going to grab we'll start with our smallest one. This is kind of the easiest way. And if you get it wrong a couple times, don't get frustrated. It's not, once you get it once, it'll be a lot easier. And I still mess it up and have to adjust it. But even then, it's not that bad because you kind of know where it's going. So we want it should be in that second notch from the outside. So we'll get that to fit in however we can, which is right there into the second notch. So everything else is just going to fit around that. And you'll see the notches. These things slide right in. The opening is on the top. And you'll just go follow. Let's see if I can turn that. So these little notches, you're just going to go in, and we're just going to go in order and just follow them in. That short one is really the only one. Everything else is exactly the same. And then when you get to the end, you'll see there's going to be a little playing around and shuffling, but it's not that bad. And don't lose them in the pool. I'm doing it right next to the pool because we got these pavers, and I just find that it works a little easier if I'm on a flat surface. On the pavers, it jiggles around a little bit, and it makes it a little more difficult. Not bad, but a little more work. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Sometimes it's easier to get that last one and just slide it down into the middle. I was having a little trouble getting that one. Oh, you know why? Because I had it upside down. And I do that kind of stuff all the time. That's why I make these videos, so you can see the dumb mistakes I make. All right. Here we go. And the last one, if you're doing this, it's actually, you can see where the slots are. I only got one hand and my helper disappeared, so we're gonna get that. So now they're all slotted in. And so when we get this guy, we're gonna look for that opening with our short guy, which is right here. And you're gonna line up that center rod. Now this is really the part that is the most work. It takes the most time, and that's just getting all these guys lined up and situated. But once they fall into place, it's actually not that bad. And if you have extra hands, sometimes that can be helpful, sometimes not. There we go. Now it just slid in, and you get that access to that. So then we got that washer, and they do have these lock nuts in, so you can't really finger tighten too much just until you get down to the lock. But once you're on there, what you're going to need to do is, like we did before, is going to have to grab that bottom. So what I'd recommend is, if you have extra hands, that's actually great. If you don't, just make sure let me see if I can do this so you can see. You want to grip it here and hold this together tight so it doesn't flop out. After all that work, you really don't want to lose, and just get that. You just need to grab onto that right here, and make sure you put that back to tighten. Another mistake that I've made before. And we're going to cinch this up. But when you cinch it up, you want to make sure that it's solid and it's not wobbling, but you don't want to crush your filter elements. So when I took over taking care of my own pool, after I let I make sure these notches don't catch, because that'll crush them too. The first time I took this apart, I noticed that all the filter elements had been crushed, and all the plastic framing was just broken, so I had to replace those. It was really cinched down too. We had like maybe 3 inches of the center rod coming up, but really, maybe a ½ inch or so sticking out. And check it. See, it's not wobbly here. It's holding. That's really all I'm looking for there. So then we got this guy back together all nice and clean. And we'll go ahead and start reassembling the rest of this guy. All right, now so we're gonna make sure we wipe down all the silicone and clean up all of our stuff before we put it together. We want to take care of the ring before we put the filter on, because we don't really want the silicone on the filter elements. That just the water won't pass through it. So I just grab some shop towels. I put some gloves on just because I hate having to wash the silicone off my hands. Make sure you get all the water and everything up too, so when we put this back together, we have a good seal. Now I'll probably have to dry that off, because I usually hose this down first, but I didn't today, so I got to hose that down, so I'll have to dry this off again anyway. Same with here. Just make sure you get all the old silicone debris off of here. Same with inside the casing here. I like to wipe that down where the valve seals. We got some dirt and debris in there as well. If you have it apart, you might as well clean it, right? You get any residue in there too. That's not bad. All right. Okay, so now we're just going to put for this, we're going to put a little bit of silicone here. What is this? This is from Leslie's, but you can get anything. It's just a silicone gel. So I just put a little bit on there, and I just run it through. You don't need a lot. It gumps. I probably use too much as it is, but it seems to work, so it ain't broke. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put this on there. All right, now I'm done with these. I don't need to get the silicone all over my filter. Now we're going to just, again, line these guys up here. That sets right down. Now we'll go ahead and put the cover here back on. All right. All right. And just make sure you have this lined up. It might jiggle a little bit, but once you get it sealed, it'll be fine. All right, we got our clamp now. It's fitting that to the back. Just, make sure you put the bolt face somewhere you can actually reach it. Now I made the mistake earlier with my old, when I had the leaky clamp on there, that I was cinching it down super hard to try to get that leak to stop. You don't actually have to cinch them down. When I got the new clamp, it actually cinches down. Once I get it snug, that's pretty much it. If you notice a little leak, you can give it like another half turn or so, but it's actually, you don't really need to like crush the fiberglass body or anything here. So, again, we're back to the 3/4 inch. Let's get out of the way here. You can feel it. There's still a little more movement. There we go. That should be good. All right. All right, so now we're just going to reassemble everything here. make sure your gaskets are all nice. If you need a little silicone in there, you can put a little silicone in there as well. And when you do this, I found this out the hard way again, is don't put it in where you got the handles up against the pipe where you have no leverage. So just try and get them in there if you can. Try and find a good spot. There we go. That way you got a little leverage on both sides. And don't forget to replace the plug at the back. Again, just the screwdriver, and we're just going to run it in. All right, so now we're just going to, again, put that in. Doesn't have to be once you get it snug, it's usually pretty good. You can always tighten it if you see a leak, but you don't have to kill it. Get it in there. That should be good. All right. All right, so once we got everything finished up here, everything's reassembled. You've cleaned out your skimmer basket. We're going to start the pump. I still left this valve open just to let some of the air out faster as it's repressurizing the system. And then once we see a little water, we can close that off there. So let's go ahead and take this off of the lock. Let's prime that up. Again, we're just letting out a little pressure. We're also going to want to, it's really loud, let me see. So we're also going to want to check for leaks. Make sure we don't see any water here. And then after we get all this started, then we're going to go and add the filter element back in, or the cellulose fiber. There we go. We see the needle rising here. We'll start seeing something coming out here in a minute. There we go. It shot some water, so we'll close that off. That should be good to go. So far, no leaks. I'm going to take a look around the back. All right, so the seal looks good. So we're up and running. Now we just have to add some of that element back to coat those the filter elements there. Okay. All right. So once we have everything ready, we have to put the I don't know what you call this stuff, but it's the cellulose fiber. It's for the filtration, so we need to do that. So I prefer this to the diatomaceous earth because it's lighter, it's cleaner, it's supposedly filters out down to 2 microns, which I guess is better than diatomaceous earth. And I think diatomaceous earth is, if you breathe it in, is not good for you. So this is supposed to be a lot safer. It's cleaner, and it's the downside, I think, is because it does filter down more. That pressure might be slightly higher, but I haven't really noticed a big deal. But you probably have to clean it a little more because it is actually pulling stuff out. So we have to do so. For my filter size, which is a 48, we need 12 scoops. So I am horrible about keeping track of this. So what I usually do is I grab either a leaf or a wood chip or something, and I line them up and keep track. But that's all you do, is just reprime these guys. There's one. I probably shouldn't go there, but when I'm doing this by myself, I tend to go with, I revert to Sesame Street, the count, and you'll hear me one, ha ha ha, but I won't do that for you guys. So anyway, we got 1 scoop. So again, I'm horrible at keeping track, especially when I get up to like 7 or 8. I can't remember what I did, so I always put something here to keep track of. And I usually wait till it clears out there. Sometimes you get a little clump that doesn't break up, and so I use the other hand. Remember, keep one hand dry so you're not, otherwise you're just going to be full of stuff. But we're all cleared out there now, so we'll go 2. And then we go through, we get 12. So I won't make you watch all of this. And I think I'm done talking. All right, number 12, we're here. All done there. Let me just wash out the residue on the sides here. And there you got it. We're all done. So thanks for watching, and guys, if you can, like and subscribe. If you guys have tips to make this easier or better, or like I said, I'm not a pool guy, so if you can help me out, please comment down below and make my life easier. Thanks.